Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Today is day number 3 of the Old Head, Young Head series. And I have with me tonight, child number 4, my man, Ja Banks, aka Elijah Belvin. This is my son. And I'm going to allow him to introduce himself in a few minutes so we can start this off. And I want to say to everybody that has been watching the last couple of days, thank you for the responses. Thank you for the positive comments. Thank you for the support of my 2 sons. And I'm hoping that you enjoy yourself tonight. You're going to find Elijah just as interesting as his brothers. And tomorrow is at 7 o'clock. Please make note. Tomorrow is child number 1, Jonathan, and he'll be on at 7 o'clock. And my daughter Kiara Arabi has been moved up to Saturday at 8:30. Now, y'all have been asking me about adding KL. I'm not sure. We might just end this whole week off with KL on Sunday night. I'm not exactly sure. So I believe Tiffany will be manning the chat room again, like she has the last 2 nights. So shout out to the lovely wife, Tiffany. I appreciate you. And I just want to give you a little background on why I decided to do this. And I know if you've listened to the last 2 nights, but if you're just tuning in tonight, in watching DMX's passing, I'm a big DMX fan, and just going through all the DMX stuff, I noticed that I was seeing some things that was being mentioned about him and having so many children, and Cats is really doing my man dirty in death, and that just doesn't sit well with me. But it got me thinking, like, I'm somebody that's got multiple kids, and I'm right behind him. I believe DMX had 11, and I got 7. And I realized that, if you want to judge a man by his children, if you ain't going to take the time out to get to know him, there's a whole lot that you're missing. Now, a lot of y'all know me as a crisis specialist, author, and educator. You know that I'm here and I help a lot of folks. I do a lot of things. But one of the things that you may not know is that you've heard me say I have 7 children, 6 different women, all that. And I don't care how you judge me. I don't care how you look at it. But what I wanted to do is give you an opportunity to see and hear from the children that often you don't get the chance to do, as well as I wanted you to see that my kids are good in the sense that they're doing their thing despite the roadblocks that I put in their way. And also it gives me a chance to hang out with them and that. And also somebody watching these last 2 nights and as tonight, and I've already heard from some of you, there are people that are gaining from hearing what these young men have to say, as well as you will gain from when you hear from my daughter. And that was the bigger thing too, is being able to allow you to heal or even attempt to heal by hearing what they have to say. So again, I want to say I appreciate you all. So with that said, we're gonna get started. So Ja, my man, and Ja's a big fan of 90s R&B, which I'm not gonna lie to you. When you find out his age, you're gonna go, wait a minute. How you a fan of 90s R&B and you're not that old? But we're gonna talk about it. Ja, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell these people a little bit about you, bro.
I am Elijah Belvin, child number 4. Pretty much the middle child. I'm pretty chill, pretty calm, as you can see by my demeanor. And this is probably how I'll be for the rest of the talk. But that's about it. We'll get to my love for 90s R&B soon, but that's pretty much my intro.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's get right into you, my man. You have transformed your physical outwardly, as well as you've always been strong mentally, so that's never been in question. But you have now taken on a whole different direction with your physical being. You're in the gym on a regular, but I want you to, walk us through like what got you started on really falling in love with the gym. As the puffy dude that I am, I know it was not me. I'm not worried about that. But I'm just saying, I see you every day. You now have a whole separate IG page, and you're really committed to it. So tell us a little something about, like, how did that come about, and like, what is the prospects of that for you?
Bro, I'll be honest. The God's honest truth. I think I was like, I want to say, like, let's say 15 or whatever. Like, I just looked in the mirror and was like, you're not gonna get as many girls as you want looking like this. So I'm not gonna lie, that was the initial motivation when I
Are
started
you
going.
telling me that panties was the reason why you hit the gym, bro?
Yeah, yeah. At 15, yeah, at 15, 16, like when I first started like working out, because I didn't start hitting the about, I want to say 17, 18. But when I was 15 or 16 in high school, I was doing like P90X to like drop the weight because I was a little chubby when I was younger. But yeah, the initial motivation was, yeah, it was legit women. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was always cool and funny. So I'm like, I could pull chicks because, I'm not no cornball, but I'm like, you know what I'm saying? If I don't want to settle and I want to get the chicks I want, yo, man, you got to get in the gym.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
So,
trying to, let me just go ahead. No, I got you. I had to just mute this. Go, keep going.
but yeah, nah, that was the initial motivation. And then as time went on, it started off as just something to do. Then it became a hobby, and then it became a lifestyle over time. So that's pretty much how
It's
that
more
came
than a
about.
lifestyle for you, man. I see you. How many days a week you work out?
4 or 5.
Okay. And what's been the biggest thing that, okay, you started out with the idea of trying to attract women, and you and I have talked, and I know that you said that now you like to train and help other people get to that position. So what has been the biggest takeaway since you started this journey for you? What's been the biggest takeaway hitting the gym like you do?
The biggest takeaway is you're never too established to learn. Like, even though like I get busy in the gym and I do my thing, like there's always room to learn. Like, I learn something every day. You might run into somebody that's or knows more than you, and like you just like constantly learning and constantly picking things up and constantly adding things to your mental, whether it be like food you eat, a certain workout you do, a certain way to do the workout, tempo, timing, and all that type of things. Like, you're literally constantly learning, regardless of how good you are. You know what I'm saying? You're literally always. That's one thing. That's my biggest takeaway, and that's one of the things I love about the gym.
Got you. Now, did you get with another trainer or mentor, or is it just a lot of self-taught stuff that you got, as well as just bumping some stuff that
It
you
was,
got from
it
people
was
in the gym?
honestly, it's, for the most part, it's self-taught, and then I just take like little bits and pieces that I learned from, whether it be friends, random people in the gym, watching videos on Instagram, whatever the case is. I just take a little bit that I feel could be useful to me and just take it with me and add it to the gym. When I first started working out, out of high school, when I first went to the gym, I was going with my boy Chris and my boy Ruben. They're um they're 4 or 5 years older than me. So at the time I was 17, they were 21 and 22, and they had already been in the gym for like, I think maybe 2, 3 years. So I was following them. So, and when I first started out, I wouldn't go to the gym by myself. Like, I would only go when they would go. And then
Uh-huh.
as time passed, months go by, years go by, I felt more comfortable in what I was doing and what they would teach me. I was like, all right, I could do a little something about it. I went from there.
Got you, got you. And if somebody's watching right now who's like, I just don't have it for the gym, what would you say, or what would you advise them to do to stay motivated, or even to get motivated to get started? Because now you went for one reason, and once you got there, the motivation changed. What would you say to that person who's sitting right now, inside the house due to COVID or whatever? What would you say to them to be able to get started right now with the way things are in the country right now?
You got to find your motivation, whatever it may be. Find your motivation and then just get there. I feel like that's the hardest part about the gym. It's not even the work in the gym or eating. It's getting there. When you first starting out, it's getting there, because you'll make up every excuse in the book. Like, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it this day. I'll do it whenever. Like, because as soon as you get there, you're not going to get to the gym and do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do something, whether you know what you're doing or not. So I would say find your motivation and just do it. You know what I'm saying? If you got to
As
take
you,
somebody with you, say that again.
no, finish up. I got you.
No, yeah. I would just say, you just got to get there, and then you figure it out from there. But the hardest part is definitely getting there.
Now you mentioned diet, and I see you drinking what looks like a shake or something like that. How
Yeah.
hard was it to change your diet, or what was your diet looking like, and how did that transition along with the way that you were transitioning your body?
All of that is I would say trial and error, reading, learning over time what works for your body. Because the same things that work for somebody else's body type, but that works for may not work for you. So you just gotta play it by ear, trial and error, what to eat before the gym, what to eat after the gym, and then see how your body responds to it that day. And weeks later, see how your body progresses, and then you go from there. It was tough though. My diet was shitty. Like, it was like I was going to the gym, putting in pain, and I'm eating garbage throughout the day, garbage. And then I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, this. And then like over time, I just had to like change a little bit, change like maybe my portions. And then as I changed my portions, I wasn't eating so much. Then I changed exactly what I was eating. It took a little time though. It took a couple of years. But
what did you give up? What did you give up diet wise? What did you give up eating that it was just like, ah man, that was my go-to, but now it's just I'm not doing it.
I honestly I didn't really give up anything. I just pick and choose. Like if I'm gonna do that, I pick and choose when I'm gonna do it.
Gotcha.
I have like a set diet. I just watch what I eat. You know what I'm saying? Like I have certain things that I eat in the morning and that I'll eat after the gym, but the nonsense I usually like I don't really eat fast food. I haven't drank soda by itself in years, but if I'm out drinking and it's chaser, that'll probably be the only time you'll see me drink soda. and I don't even drink alcohol like that unless if I don't go out, it's like I'm not really gonna be in the house. Just like pour me a glass. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stressed out. I don't need that. I'm good.
I love it. I've seen some of the bottles, or I've seen some of the indulgent when y'all go out, but I got you. Ain't no sense just sitting around.
Yeah, it's like every I want to say like once or twice every couple of weeks. But when I do, shit, I'm a drink.
I got you. All right, so last question in this area here. What's the ultimate goal? That's the place that I'm trying to get to for you in the workout area. What's the ultimate place for you to get to? What's the ultimate goal?
It varies, but right now my goal right now is to get bigger. And I'm trying to grow my legs. So right now that's the initial goal.
How big is bigger?
I'm trying to figure out how I can. Like I'll know when I get to that size. Like I'm like if you want like after we finish all this and they follow my Instagram page, like you'll see the progression in my legs. But to a certain size, because I'm not gonna lie, when I first started working out, I used to like neglect my legs. Like all those memes you see about don't skip leg day, like that was me when I first started. Like I was real top heavy. I look like a big ass trapezoid. You know what I'm saying?
Tiff used to give you the business. Tiff used to give you
the business. It wasn't just Tiff. It was everybody. And I used to be on some like, man, fuck out of here, man. These niggas is hating. But now, fast forward like 2-3 years later, I look at me like running on the track. And I'm like, yo, I look like that? I'm like, yo. But yeah, definitely that's my initial goal is to grow my legs and get my legs to a certain size right now. As well as grow my entire body throughout. But more focused on my legs.
All right, so now let's get into some a little bit tougher questions, but just have some fun as I usually talk. Now, I spoke to your brother on Monday, and you guys are 4 years apart, as y'all are two totally different individuals. He has his style, you have yours, and you love him to death, and he loves you, but y'all are two different, distinct folks. And so what I wanted to ask, because again, I've noticed that people respond listening to you guys. When you were younger and the whole start of the separation divorce thing was happening, you were 4 years old. And I remember when I had said to you that, the whole separation thing, your whole thing was you was already working an angle because you was like, so I get 2 birthdays, 2 Christmases.
Right. I'm 4 years old, man. I ain't know what the hell divorce was. I was like, okay, y'all get to deal with y'all shit. I get 2 things.
So my question is, over that time, what would you say was the most difficult thing for you not having your dad in the house with you, even though I was active with you the whole time? What would you say was the hardest thing not having me in the house with you and being a child of a divorce? What would you say that was for you?
For me, it wasn't really difficult for me, but I would say the most difficult part was, I guess, would be like accountability in the house. Like I knew there was certain things like I could get over with because it's just mom here. You know what I'm saying? Like even though mom would be on me, I know if I could do or say certain things, like she'll leave me a certain extent. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Because you know what I'm saying? Like whereas like I respect mom to death, like I didn't really like fear her, so I knew I could like get over on her to an extent. And I knew like if you was in the house, like I probably would.
you're breaking up
And I
just
feel
a
like,
little bit. You're breaking up just a little bit with your earpiece when you turn your head. I don't know if it's when you shift your
you
head.
can hear me. You can hear me now.
No, we can hear you. I think when you turn your head just a little bit, it kind of cuts out when you're talking. So you might want to keep your head still just a little.
But yeah, I would definitely say accountability when it came to like certain stuff like school and staying on track and stuff like that. But in terms of like emotionally and all of that, it didn't really affect me like at all because it's not like you weren't there. You know what I'm saying? Even like I saw you every other weekend. I knew if I needed you, I could. It's not like we didn't speak. I saw you every other weekend. If there was a problem in school or anything that I need to talk about, like you was just a phone call away. So like you honestly just weren't there physically. Like you weren't physically in the house, but you were still there. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? So besides the accountability part, when um, me getting in trouble, like doing stupid stuff, and like really keeping me grounded when it came to like certain things, it didn't really affect me negatively too much.
I got you. And your sister Kiara says, "What's up?" She's in the chat room.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm on my phone, so if y'all are like asking me questions or like saying stuff, I can't really see it.
Now you can
So,
go
but
back.
what up, kid?
You can go back and check it out. But yeah, because yeah, that's true. I mean, you and Anthony had a little bit different than your siblings because you had me on a regular, and when I talk to Jonathan and Kiara, that's some of the stuff we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know it affected them a little bit differently, and rightfully so. Like everybody, you know what I'm saying? But for
Yeah.
me, it just didn't. Like I was straight.
So that kid that's watching right now that struggles with not having that accountability that you just mentioned, how do you tell him, what would you say to him to keep him from not stretching that to where he might get himself in a whole lot of trouble if dad can't get to him? Like I could get to you from Queens, and of course, once I was in Brooklyn, I was even closer. But that accountability that you talk to, that daily accountability, what would you say to that kid that's in the house with his mom right now and it's just them, and that accountability is speaking to? What would you say to him for him not to push that to get in trouble?
Um, Whatever values your parents have gave you, like you gotta stick with it and trust your judgment. Like I ain't really getting too much. I didn't really get in too much trouble. Like I'm not gonna lie, we could get into stories. I did, but nothing like too crazy. Like I always knew the line. So like the values that you and mom taught me, they was always there. You know what I'm saying? So I never got in too much trouble. But if pops is not, you gotta hold it. You know what I'm saying? That's mental toughness and mental growth. I've always had that from young. So when it came to certain things, I can always hold myself accountable. Like when you're in a situation, like, all right, if I make that way, like that's wrong. And if I do it, I know I did something wrong. It's not like I'm going in there blind. I didn't know any better. So if I do it, like I know I did something wrong. So you got to hold yourself accountable.
No doubt.
You
And
know what I'm
then
saying?
and speaking about stories,
and trust yourself to make the right decision.
no doubt. And speaking about stories, I will tell one with a certain kid who was diabolical putting baby oil on the step. So
you feel me?
Go ahead. You can tell the story. Go ahead. You tell the story. Go ahead.
This was junior year. This is junior year of high school, man. Me and my boys, well, me, I went to the bathroom, brought some baby oil to school, and all over the high school building, watching people slip and bust their ass. And I'm like, it was so dumb at the time because mind you, the four dudes I'm with, I was the only one that got caught, right? So they catch me on the cameras, they take me to the office, and they call my mom. Mom comes darting up, gives me the business in front of like mad people, whatever. So we in the office. I held it down though. We get in the office. They was like, "Yo, who else was with you pouring the baby oil?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm not snitching. It was just me." So, mom looks me directly in the face and says, "You need to tell me you woke up at 7 a.m. to go to school, grab my Johnson bathroom cabinet to pour it on the ground by yourself. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I got suspended for like, I want to say like a week or
Yeah,
two.
but there's a part of that you're forgetting because in the middle of the day, I get a call and I was a dean
You
at the
got called
time.
about that? If you did
Yeah,
get, I don't remember that.
yeah, because that's what made me come over that evening, which you looked terrified when you came down the steps. I get a call. I get a call. They're like, Mr. Belvin. I'm like, yes. He said, well, I just wanted to call you about Elijah because your name is on the blue card. Mom's came up, but what he did was very dangerous. And I said, well, what do you mean? What did he do? And when they started explaining it to me, it was like, yeah, and he was pouring it on the steps, and they were trying to hide and take pictures of people falling. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, but his mother came up. We took care. I said, no problem. And I remember when I called you, I said, I'm on my way out there. And the funny thing was when I came to get you, you were standing at the top of the steps. I was like, man, get your ass in the car. You was like, nah. We drove out to like near the airport. You just knew I was going to kill you and leave you out there.
It was so stupid. It was so dumb. Like I look back on it and it's like, that's the type of shit I would get in trouble for. I wasn't out here fighting, shooting, gang. I was like, it was always like little stupid, tedious shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But
because I remember I said to you, do you understand somebody could have died? Were you ready to go to jail? Or you gave me a look like, I didn't even think about it like that. I was like,
and the funny thing is, when I was in the office, they said, because my favorite teacher at the time, my social studies teacher, Ms. Rosenblum, was pregnant at the time, and they was like, yo, you over here dropping baby oil on the steps, and your teacher's walking around here like 6 months pregnant. I'm like, you know what? I ain't even think about it like that.
But yeah, and again, I think the good thing with all of you, you had your incidents and stuff like that. And I think what separates all of you, y'all all have like a different temperament. And I think, guys are going to see that as they listen to you guys and as they listen to you and as they listen to Jonathan, as they listen to Kiara, you're going to realize that all of you have a different temperament and a lot of it is based on experiences and everything else. And you were always even centered, but you were more family orientated with your mom and everybody else. What was that like when you're trying to be that family dude, but you were thrusted in the middle of a lot of things? Because often, you and I would talk, you'd give me the call and it's your brother on one side, you on the other side, but you're trying to hold a family down and stuff like that. What has that been? And you're not a mama's boy by no stretch. You just like to try to hold a family down and try to diffuse situations. What was that like being the youngest in the house, but then having to play peacemaker often inside the house?
I felt like it was just something like I had to do because aunt and mom are like, they're pretty much a lot. So, if it don't get like too out of control, I just let them, yell it out, do whatever, y'all get y'all rocks off and then y'all go y'all separate ways or whatever. But when I felt it was getting too out of hand, like I would play peacemaker, and I was never biased towards like Ant because he's my brother. Like if Ant was wrong, I would be like, yo, you're bugging, you're dead wrong, and vice versa. I never cut anybody no slack. Like if you wrong, you wrong. So it would be mom too. Like if mom's getting on something to Ant, something that Ant ain't do, or Ant is not in the wrong, I'm like, mom, he clearly did X, Y, and Z. Why are you responding like this? Like he ain't do nothing. You're bugging, and vice versa. So I felt like it was something that was necessary, and for the time being, like it worked. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just held people accountable. You know what I'm saying?
Now
it's something I didn't mind doing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Was there mind doing it.
Was there ever a time that you were just super frustrated with, well, I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask you. When those times came that you were super frustrated and it was like, I don't want to be in this role, what kept you there in the house? Because you could have left any time because you had opportunities, you've thought about it, you've worked on some things. What kept you in the house and what kept you in that position as the peacekeeper?
Say that again. I didn't hear the last part. You broke up.
I was saying, what kept you? Because there was times you and I have talked, and you were like, "Yo, I can bounce anytime that I want." What kept you in the house, and what kept you in that position of peacekeeper inside the house? Because I know you've made plans, and I know you still got plans. But what kept you in that position of peacekeeper in the house?
I'm needed here, and family always comes first. So it's like, if I can put what I'm doing on hold to make sure everybody in the house is straight, I'm always going to do that. You know what I'm saying? And
I
I felt
got
like it
you.
was.
But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But doesn't that put the dreams and the things that you want on hold for you?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't putting my dreams on hold. I feel like when I had those thoughts, it was probably me like thinking in the moment. Like I wasn't ready to like leave it. So like it was just me thinking in the moment. To be
Gotcha.
honest, so I never really had any real plans of leaving. Obviously in the future, yeah, but at that time, no, I was probably just angry and thinking in the moment. You know what I'm saying? I feel
Gotcha.
like when I had those thoughts, it was probably because mom had said some things to me that really like triggered me and like really like struck a nerve where I was like, damn, it's like that.
Everything
Like,
that I've
you
done.
feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, it's like that. But after I just sat back and like really thought about it, it was just like, all right, she was just in, and it goes back to the accountability factor. Like, if she was in a rough spot, like, yo, how do I get through to him? You know what I'm saying? If I'm too nice, he takes advantage. If I'm too mean, he doesn't really fear me. So she had to say or do some shit to really like really strike a nerve and be like, yeah, nigga, like you're bugging. You know what I'm saying? And it
Gotcha.
worked because I was I was livid. I
Gotcha.
was livid.
So,
But yeah.
do you have do you have an idea of what you when it's going to be that time to go ahead and make that move, or is like you just playing it by ear? Do you have a set thing that you're after? Like once you get there, then it's time for you to make a move for you.
Now I'm playing it by ear, but I have a couple things that I want to do, and becoming a personal trainer is one of them. So you know, I'm studying this big ass book that's like 600 or something pages. You know,
I
um,
got you.
I'm studying that book on top of actually working for DOE or whatever and all of that, and then I plan to go back to school in the near future. So you know, I got to do in the near future that I'm definitely gonna do.
And you've always been good with your papers, so staying there with your mom allows you to stack some paper for you to do what you got
Yeah,
to do later on anyway.
yeah,
So let me ask you this: with now you said you work with the DOE. What's your experience been like with working with the kids? Because your brother mentioned Monday, both of y'all have been doing it for well over 10 years. What what is that? Oh, and by the way, in the chat room, you got a couple of people, but Lakeisha Robinson is a trainer. So if you need some information, when you go back in to look at the comments, check out Lakeisha. She'll give you some information or some point you in the directions in terms of personal training. So you can take advantage of that when you go back and check out the chat room stuff. But
yeah.
you've been working with kids for a little bit. What how long have you been working with kids, and what has your experiences been like with working with the children?
Say that again. You broke up. What'd you say?
No, I was saying you've been working with kids. Like John talked about his over 10 years working with kids. And I know y'all both have kind of traveled the same path. What has been
Yeah.
your experience with working with children, and what how long have you been doing it?
I am 25. I don't know if my age was said in the beginning of the video,
Yeah,
but
gotcha.
I'm
Go ahead.
25 and I started working with kids when I was 17. I started out as a group leader at, ironically, the elementary school that I graduated from. So I was a group leader there. Honestly, the biggest takeaway from it, working with kids, is it teaches you how to see things from another perspective that's not yours. And like, even if the perspective doesn't make any fucking sense to you, like it's still their perspective and you can see why they might feel that way. So I feel like working with kids, it teaches you certain things that you could take with you in your everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing things from a kid's perspective helps you when you're interacting with other adults in a relationship to see things from whomever's perspective and put it into play, and then you know what I'm saying, you react accordingly. So I would say that's definitely the biggest takeaway from working with. I actually didn't even know I was going to be, because I'm actually really good at it. I didn't think I was going to be this good at it when I first started working. Like at 17, I was nervous as hell.
But think about it. But think about it. And Anthony said this on Monday. You guys have spent your whole lives hanging out with me at each school that I was at, when I was coaching, when I was doing after school programs, whatever, getting to know other kids. And then when we would go to the park, those same kids would come over and hang out with y'all. So you've been around that environment for quite some time. We go to Man and play basketball, and you and Train, who you then later connected with,
at the same job I started at.
Train McFadden. Me and his pops is playing ball, and y'all are playing on the side, only to get older and get into your teens and 20s, and now all of a sudden y'all are reconnected as him and his pops and I was connected. So the world comes full circle. So you've been around it for a minute, and it's something that I'm not going to push you in any direction, but I think it's something that you need to consider as you make your moves, because not only are you good with kids, you do have a strong understanding of kids, because I've talked to you and I've watched you work with children over the years.
Yeah, it's just you just gotta be yourself. I feel like a lot of the mistake a lot of teachers and a lot of educators make, like they just watch a training or read a book and just think like that's how you're supposed to operate with everybody. And it's like, bro, every class is different, every kid is different. Like they're not gonna respond the same, and you're not gonna be able to get the same reception from every kid doing the same thing.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Like when this kid over here is acting out or does something, responds better when you bark on them and really dig into them. This one right here is a little more emotional, so you got to pull them to the side and have like a talk with them. This one you got to make a joke out of certain stuff, and you got to just like know your kids. Like once you learn your kids, like it's all easy. But you got to have people skills and you got to have some personality. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. When I go to work and work with kids, I don't even consider it work. I'm literally at work being myself. Like the same way I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
I would talk to these kids, and I'm just like, yo, if y'all, one thing I always tell them is, if you can respect me as an adult, we can interact as peers. You know what I'm saying? We can interact, chop it up as peers, as if we're equals, as long as you respect me as an adult, as a teacher, and you don't ever cross that line. We can chop it up like this all the time.
Yeah, and what you mentioned, actually, believe it or not, is actually what educators are supposed to know. It's called understanding multiple intellects. You're supposed to be inside the classroom, understand that a group of kids are all going to fall into different patterns, and you're supposed to teach to those patterns and meet the kids where they are. So the kid in the back gets as much out of it as the kid in the front. But unfortunately, a lot don't know that. And so teachers come in and teach one way. And because they only teach one way, when the kid starts to wild out, they then label that kid as negative when all he was doing was responding to the foolishness that you didn't put into place. So,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No doubt.
And I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of teachers. I don't know if they still are, but when I first started working at the school I'm working at now, I've been there for like 2-3 years. Like a lot of teachers was envious of me when I was working there, because I'm 22 years old. I don't have no degree, and I get a better reception from all the kids, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, because I work in the junior high school. Like I get a better reception from all the kids, and the kids respect me more than they respect them. And like I'm 22. I'm just a regular 22-year-old, regular 20. And the kids listen to me. They respond better to me, and to the point where we have a whole guidance counselor in the building. But when the kids are going through something at home, they don't understand something in class, they're having relationship problems. I don't know what the hell that means at 6th, 7th, 8th grade, but I got a front. You know what I'm saying? I got a front like they're actually going through shit. You know what I'm saying? We got a whole guidance counselor, but I'm in classroom working with my kid, and I would have other students come knock on my door like, yo, can I talk to Mr. Lodger for a minute? Like it was that type of thing. Mind you, I've only been here for like 3 years. So a lot of teachers in that building really like was envious of me for real.
But I'm gonna tell you, and you've been groomed for that because you've been around it, and you've been in the classroom with me. You've had a kid turn to you and say, "You're lucky to have Mr. B as your dad because I don't have that at home," and those things. So you've seen it, and the beautiful thing is that you've been able to incorporate it into what you do. And I would give you this advice: is that get the training certification, but consider that knowledge that you just passed, and consider what you would need to be able to get into the door to do it on a regular, because you can still train and you can still teach and get paid more money. Yeah, you got to go back to school to get your certifications, all that stuff like that. But it's necessary simply because you come to the table with an understanding of how that works. You've seen me make it work. Now you're in that situation and you're making it work, and you're seeing that kids are responding to you in a way that benefits them. So the idea is that is something that you need to actually look at and consider. how you can make that work for you going forward, because it opens up the doors. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with the DOE, but just in general, because the piece of paper could open up the door to a whole lot of extra paper that would allow you to still have fun and do what you got to do. Now, of course, there's something that comes with that, but I'm just giving you that. Now, let's get into, I want to get into this 90s R&B. Oh, and Jason popped in.
Oh,
Jason popped in. Jay said, what's up? Jay Harris just popped in. He said, what's up?
Yo, what up, Jay?
So 90s R&B, my man, please tell me, because I know I bumped a lot of R&B in my time, but I started to notice that you would be in the back seat at a very young age, rocking Mariah, Charlie Wilson.
You fit me. I'm like 9 years old hitting high notes. What? Boy?
So tell me how, where did the 90s R&B, when did the 90s R&B just hit in? Like, where did that come from, man?
Nah, it was always there from when I was younger, but then once I got older and I was like able to start like doing some research, and I'm on Apple Music, dibbling and dabbling, you know, I'm listening to I hear a song and I'm like, I like fake know the words. Like, I've never heard the song before, but I'm like, why do I know the words? Oh, such and such used to play this when I was like 10. So then back and I'm like, all right, this artist is pretty fire. Let me go back and bump some of their old albums. And I just kept doing that. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. And a lot of our music today, it ain't nothing but remake from stuff from the 90s. So like I would hear like a sample come on and I'm like, sample is hard. What song did they sample? Go back and bump the old thing. I'm like, man, I'm an old soul at heart. I like old school basketball better than today's generation. I like today old school music better than today's generation, man. I just live in this generation, man.
Because I've watched you work out, and I've heard you say, "Don't judge me." Working out to the old stuff is, and I mean, it ain't just the ordinary stuff. It's the, yo, you found that cut, and I'm like, yo, he wasn't even out there when that cut was on.
Man, I'll be in the gym lifting like 2-3 plates on the chest press. Mind you, I'm bumping Keisha Cole or Tyrese or 112 or Tamia. Like, what, man? Listen.
How's that played with the ladies?
I'm not gonna lie. If I'm talking to a female and like her music, like your music catalog or your music selection could be unattractive, dog. Like, if I'm talking to you, like, I know I'm only 25, but if all you want to listen to is like Pop Smoke and Lil Baby and all that shit, and I throw on some 112 or some Joe, and you're like, who is this? Nah, dog, pack you up. you ain't be with me.
So their playlist can get them cut off. So the playlist,
man, you can't stay here.
So wait a minute. Tiff said, what's up with Uncle Jado?
How did I start doing that, or she want him back?
But she said, I guess you want to tell the people, one, who is Uncle Ja? First of all, you want to tell them about Uncle Ja? Yeah.
Man, that's what happens when you keep me in quarantine, man. I get ideas.
And go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Uncle Ja, it was just like I would just throw on the most Haitian fit in my house. Go whole fit, some shoes, a whole fit that just don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Go get like a bottle of Henny and a cigar, and you know, I'm that old uncle at the barbecue. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. I know when I first saw it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Because I said when I first saw it, I was in tears, bro. I was like, what is this? You had a vest on, the black hat. You had a vest with no shirt on, a black hat, hard shoes, and I don't even know if it was your shoes because they look kind of big. And it was like, and it was Return of the Mac.
Nah, the shoes, the whole fit was mine except for the fedora. The fedora was mine.
Okay.
The whole fit was mine. We was cooped up in quarantine. I couldn't go nowhere. Gyms was closed. Everything was closed. Couldn't do shit. So I'm like, you know what? This should be kind of funny.
No doubt.
I'm about to make another video. I'm about to bring him back.
No, and you mentioned the Haitian fit because we don't get anybody offended. Tell them a little bit about your Haitian background, son.
Yeah, my mom is Haitian and Dominican, so that's where I get that side of the family from. I don't speak or understand Creole, but my mom speaks and understands it fluently. My uncle fluently, and I don't really have
Has
too
there ever
much to say about
been
that. But
has there ever been like a tension for you coming up in say a bilingual situation, or when you're having to deal with the Haitian side compared to other things? Because I know sometimes it can be, but for you, you fit in well. Has there ever been an issue culture-wise inside the home for you or with your family when you're
nah, definitely not an issue. Mom is more Americanized. Like I think mom's first language was Creole. Cause I know my Olga and grandpa, they was grandpa was born in DR, Olga was born in Haiti. So
Haiti? Yeah.
they was old school Haitian. So they
Yes.
raised mom on like old school Haitian principles. Like you
She
gotta
spoke,
do
she
this,
spoke
you gotta
Spanish.
do
Yeah,
that.
she spoke Spanish and French fluently. I think she learned all three at the same time.
Yeah,
So I know she speaks all
mom,
three, Spanish, yeah, all
mom
of them.
still mom still carries those old school values, but she's definitely more Americanized. You know what I'm saying? But she definitely still carries some of that with her.
Tamari said, "Do you speak Spanish?"
Speak English. That's all I
Nah.
speak is English.
His
That's all.
grandpa, one of the funniest cats on the planet, and he wasn't trying to
Comedy.
be. He wasn't trying to
Comedy.
be. He wasn't trying to be, but he would ask questions that would literally make you stop and freeze, like, what? And they were the funniest, but he was dead serious in his questions.
Yeah, and he had some crazy one line. He would tell you some simple shit, but like when you really think about what he just said, like that means a lot. Like whole family, yo, when y'all get some money, make shirts. Because everybody in the world is gonna need a fucking shirt. And I'm like, as simple as that is, when you really think about it, that's a gem, bro.
Make
So
shirts.
like,
Everybody needs shirts.
make shirts. I'm like, you know what? You're not wrong. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. I used to sit and talk with him, and the funny thing with talking with Grandpa is that he was because his query was legitimate. Like he would ask you a question because he really wanted to answer, and part of you would go, "He's joking, right?" No, he really didn't know, and he might ask, but his logic was on point if you really just got past it. Like, and for me, you still know the funniest for me. Him and I was watching television, and a moose attacked a guy with some bags, and he was just sitting there calm, and I'm falling out that the moose attacked this guy. And I said, "Yo, how you gonna let yourself get attacked by a moose?" He said, "Moose, moose." I said, "Yeah, that's a moose, Pop." He said, "Who make moose?" I said, "What?" I said, "What did you ask me?" He said, "Who makes moose?" I said, I guess God make a moose. That's what it is." He said, "That was a moose?" I said, "Yeah, Pop, that was a moose." He said, "That thing that attacked the man was a moose." I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, I thought that was a cow." And I said, "Wait a minute. First of all, how are cows out here attacking people?" And I'm like, "This thing has large antlers, and you thought it was a cow." I'm not mad at
Nah, he had me a move. What? Like, like that's one of them questions. Like when you have kids, like they'll be like 5 years old, and they'll be like, "Yo, who makes the moose? Where are they made?" And I'm like, I don't know. They just
Exactly. Exactly. And another good one was with Bandit, the big pit bull that the uncle had. He said, he understands you, right? And I said, "What, Pop?" He said, "Dogs understand English." And he said, "They used to could talk." And I said, "The animals?" He said, "All the animals could talk." I said, "Why'd they stop talking?" "They don't want to talk no more." And he just bounced. He didn't say nothing else. He said, "They just don't want to talk no more." And then he came back and said, "So if I say you want to go to the bathroom, the dog knows what I'm talking about, and he runs to the back door. How does he know? He understands. He just don't want to talk back." And I was like, I couldn't argue with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you think about it, that's sound logic. However you want to feel about it, like that shit makes sense.
Oh man. So
That's a joke. That's a joke for real.
oh man, no doubt, no doubt. So So when you go out and you rep your Haitian side and your Dominican side, have you ever seen with some of your friends now some of that clashes between the Caribbean and American folks that make you sometimes wonder why folks get down like that, especially when you've seen it work with no issues, no problems? Have you seen like culture situations
Say that again. What do you mean?
between when you're out and you got brothers and sisters that are Caribbean, brothers and sisters that are American? Do you see any time squabbles between them that you sometimes got to say like, what's that? Because there's no reason for that. Simply because you balance it out, no issues, no problems. Do you ever see that when you're out and about with the boys? Anybody else?
Nah, honestly, nah,
Gotcha,
not really.
gotcha. Because it's for me. I noticed that it was always interesting to talk to Miss LaFontaine as well as Mr. LaFontaine because you got a different perspective on what another country looked like that a lot of people never really understood. I actually did a report in college on Haiti that I got the information from your grandmother and one of your aunts, and a lot of people said I had um, no idea of the stuff that I was able to talk about, like with not wanting to go to hospitals because and the way wealth is distributed and whatever. So it was just interesting. So we got about 10 minutes left. And I'm not gonna ask any more. I'm not gonna ask any difficult questions. What I do want to ask, and I've asked this question with your brother, so I'm gonna ask you. If there's a mother out there right now, dealing with one or two sons, and she's by herself, what would be the thing that you would offer to her as advice on how to deal with her son from your perspective?
Um, always be honest with them, to be real with them, because that's one thing I take with me when I work with kids. They can sense when you're being real, when you're being authentic. That goes a long way. Whether you're telling them what they want to hear, what they don't want to hear, like as long as it's real, they're gonna respect it and they're gonna respond. Um, they're gonna be receptive as long as it's genuinely real. Like they could definitely sense that. So I wouldn't. Don't hold back. Don't lie. Don't sugarcoat nothing. Like you got to tell them what it is, even at a young age. Like I said, I work with junior high school, and regardless of what's going on, I don't. They want to hear. Like I got to tell you what it is. Because if I don't tell you what it is, I'm doing you a disservice.
Got you. And that's actually a great answer because that's come up before in terms of talking about honesty. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to give your contact information because I think you're on IG more than anything else. Are you on Facebook at all?
Not like I have it, but I'm not. I'm not really on Facebook like that.
All right.
I'm more so on IG.
All right. So I want you to give them your IG information so folks can find you and check out both of your pages so they can follow you and see what you're up to.
Yeah. So my regular everyday Instagram page, Job Bank, JAHBANK, two S's underscore. And then my workout page is Jalist, JAHLIFTS underscore. Once you follow one or once you look at one, I tagged my other page in both bios. So once you find one, you'll find both.
Got you. So is there anything off the top of your head that you can think of before we get ready to close this out? Is there anything that you just want to speak on or bring to the table just off the top of your head thinking? Because you and I talk on a regular, so it's not like
Nah, the only takeaway from all of this is just keep your family close, even if y'all see each other 24/7. I don't you couldn't tell that we haven't seen each other in person for like 3-4 years or whenever the last time it was down here. You know what I'm saying? So that's I'm like just because you can't see your family all the time or as often.
you went out. You can't hear you. Ja, I can't hear you. Ja, I can't hear you.
Cousins and all
No,
that.
hold up. You broke up a little bit. I didn't hear you, so you got to go back.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It was like from a couple years ago, and then we just went out. I didn't hear you.
But yeah, I was saying even though your family as often as you would like or as often as you want, just keep them close because you couldn't really tell by this conversation that we haven't seen each other in like 3-4 years. So like these conversations, checking in and all that type of things, like it goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see Kiara, Jonathan, and Justin as often as I see them any less. You know what I'm saying? So
Got you. One of the questions, real quick, that it came up, I was just glancing down the chat room, but I'll ask. Tamari, friend of mine, asked, "Are all my kids close?" And I know the answer is yes. But go ahead. Are you close to all your siblings?
Yeah, 1,000%. Like, family is one thing I take serious. Like I said, we cannot talk for years. But if you have, or even cousins that y'all probably haven't met, Iona, whoever, like any of my cousins on any side, they call me and need anything. Like if I got it, I'm there, whatever the case is. So 1,000%.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, and you're like you said, you're that middle child. You're that person that holds it from the top to the bottom, so they kind of all flow through you. And we only got one. I think Kiara is actually, out of all of you, the one that met your sister, Courtney. And when I have attempted to try to reach out to try to, open that door, it hasn't happened, but still gonna work on it. And
wasn't I the first one that asked about her? Didn't y'all have like a random picture up at grandma's house?
He was like, "Yo, who's this?"
I'm like, well, I know everybody on this bookcase. Who this?
Yo, why is it this random picture?
Oh man, I'm like, I come to this house every other weekend. Who is this, B?
Well, it was, a lot of it is, and it's, listen, when things was the way it was for me years ago, there's a lot of nuances to a lot of things. And for you two, y'all were with me all that time, but there's a lot. And I think for me, one of the reasons why, like I said, I wanted to do this was to reconnect with all of you, but also to have those conversations. And I'm super excited to talk to Jonathan tomorrow and talk to your sister Kiara on Saturday, because, hearing from them as well, because it's at this point, like I said, when I heard X went, I had just seen, I think, his last interview. And I don't care how he went out. I just know when I saw that interview, death wasn't one of the things that he was even considering. So it's not like, oh, he wasn't feeling well and he was doing bad and something happened. Wherever this came from, or however the backslide or whatever, I don't know, and I'm not caring to know how the man went. I just know he's not here. I just know when I listened to him talk, his aspirations of what the future was going to be was bright. And then all of a sudden that light was extinguished. So it got me to thinking. I was like, you know what? And I'm also interested in hearing what Jonathan and Kiara is doing as well as all of you. And I think one of the things that I can say, the people that have been watching all of you, it has been cathartic for them too, because they're getting a chance to maybe look at themselves, look at their children, maybe consider what role. And I knew I was going to take a little lighter role with you because, you've always been even kilted. Nothing has really tilted you one way or the other. Also, you always had to deal with what Anthony was dealing with because he's got his own personality. And as you said, him and his moms do rub each other in a particular way. But I think you being that bridge, you've always been that kind of level-headed. And even when you reached out to me like, yo, Pop, how do I deal with this? Because I got to talk to moms, I got to talk to Aunt. And I think I love the fact that all of you cats hang out and I get to see what's happening through the pictures and everything else. And I'm super excited to talk to Jonathan tomorrow. I'm super excited to talk to Kiara on Saturday because all of you have unique situations and all of you are still connected. And I love that part. And I like the fact that y'all were able to get to where you needed to, even when I made errors and missteps. And listen,
you remember the first time we met Jonathan? Bro, we met. We was I forgot how old we
Come to the crib. He had his uniform on that day.
He walked in. He had his uniform on. Me and Aunt is in the living room in our drawers playing Grand Theft Auto. Yo, what up, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's on. It's on.
That's it. And then that's literally it. I don't need the backstory of what happened. Like I don't care. Like this my brother. All right, cool. That's it.
That was the same thing with Justin. When Justin came, like, oh, this the brother? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't what happened with his parents, what y'all like that's for y'all.
And it was the same way. And it was the same way when we were younger when Kiara showed up. Too, y'all just it's funny when y'all were younger. You and Kiara and Anthony would kind of fuss with each other more. You were super young. So it was more Anthony and Kiara would kind of push and pull. But I remember we were all at the McDonald's playing and I asked you, did you have to go to the bathroom? You said no. Then you just stood up on the seat and just peed all over the seat. And I was like, I just asked you, did you have to go to the bathroom? So Anthony and Kiara was playing in the entertainment area. And I just
said, am I like that?
I just said, Elijah, you got to go to the bathroom. He was like, nope. And then you just stood up on the seat and just peed all over this. I was like, yo, come on, I'm not built for this. Yeah, and I'm trying to change you. You done peed all over everything. Break it up. I can't hear you. No, can't hear you again. It went out.
Hold on, say something, Dad.
Yeah, now I can hear you. There you go. You back.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I can hear you now.
There you go. Yeah, but I was like, it was difficult because trying to figure out how to get it done. But you was always a little off. Just like when everybody's out playing basketball, you was rolling around with homeboy's sister from across the streets. I was like, okay, I gotta keep an eye on this one. They're out playing ball.
Yeah.
Now, one last thing before we close this out. I noticed that your fluffy girl, your big girl Jean, hasn't kicked in yet as a Belvin man. You wanna explain to me why your full figure Jean has not kicked in? Because I noticed that you're not leaning towards the thicker sisters like everybody else. What's up?
I don't understand. I've dabbled. You know what I'm saying? I may have dabbled like once or twice, but is that my thing? No. But
if it work out and she's looking the right way, we can hang out, right?
That's it. But I dabbled once or twice. You know what I'm saying?
Look, Jonathan's in the chat room screaming, "We love the big girls." I know John, Anthony, and Justin. They like the thick sisters.
Everybody but me. These dudes be swimming. These dudes be swimming, son. These dudes be swimming.
Oh man, nice.
But, nice. They ain't kicking yet. I don't know. But
listen, date who you want, date who you like, man. As long as she's good to you, as long as you're good to her, y'all gonna be all right.
I thought I had one, but you ain't get to meet it because you was in Delaware. But yeah, I had one that I bought.
Really? I didn't even know. I'm not mad at you. No, I didn't know. Yeah, I remember. I know, and I didn't know. Was you okay? Listen, congratulations. But either way, listen, I don't think you're ready to settle down anyway.
We're not together. I was just saying, like, what you missed out on.
I understand. So you've had some attention with. Yeah.
No. We was together for 2 years.
Really,
bro? That's the only girlfriend I've ever had. I've never been in no relationship besides that one. That was the only relationship.
The one that was not of the same persuasion as you. Y'all had a relationship.
We did not have a relationship. That was. I was young.
She thought y'all in a relationship. You wasn't.
Look, I was young. We're just gonna chalk that up to that and charge it to the game. All right, I was young.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, listen, my man. I want to tell you thank you so much. Hang out. I'm gonna close this out a little bit because I want you to give some final parting words. Hey guys, listen, another hour. Day number 3 in the books, and this is my son number 3, child number 4, excuse me. Child number 4, third day of the old head versus young head series. I hope that you guys have been enjoying this behind the scenes look at my children. There's still more to come, and it's going to get even more exciting. Going to have some more fun. We got Jonathan, Kiara, and I'm believing I might even let KL do a little half an hour on Sunday night. We'll see. But I'm super excited to talk to Jonathan, 9/11 hero, and I'm also super excited to talk to my lovely daughter, Kiara, because I think what you're going to notice with both of them is they have very strong personalities, very strong wills, and you're going to learn some things, and we're going to have some fun, and we're going to talk about some things. And I'm looking forward to it because the one thing I have learned in the last 3 days from my kids is that I love where their heads is at in terms of how they see things, and they are helping people that are watching. So you guys that are watching, please keep posting the quality comments. Reach out if you need to, because I counsel, yes, but part of my counseling is to try to help people recognize things that are going on. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to talk to the remaining clan. It's going to be fun. Tomorrow is 7 o'clock. Remember, 7 o'clock, Jonathan, 7 o'clock tomorrow, Jonathan, 8:30 Saturday night, Kiara, Era B on Instagram. Jonathan, what is it, Jonathan? Give me the whole thing again on Instagram. I'm just taking a peek in the chat room. Hit me up, Jonathan. Give me your IG name, John. And so me and Jonathan have a real unique story, how we were literally a block away from each other over a period of time and knew all the same people, but never actually got a chance until that time came. So it's actually interesting. And again, this is an opportunity to have a celebration, to have some fun. We're not going to bash anybody's moms. We're not doing that. This is simply to have some fun, to let you see and enjoy and let you in on some of the conversations I have with my children. I am honored to be here with all of my kids. I hope that you feel the same. So, John, what do you want to leave them with? Give them something just to close out, words of wisdom, if you may. Oh, 1 second before you do. If you want to check out Jonathan, at _peace_with_me. At peace with me, but at _peace_with_me on Instagram. Arabi, I think is there an underscore in yours, Kiara? If it is, let me know and I'll correct it. But I know it's at Arabi on IG, and they're gonna close out this week. Number 1 and number 2, the oldest and the second oldest, will be the next 2 days. So we're gonna have some fun. So go ahead, John. Give me some words of wisdom as we bring this thing to close, my brother.
I keep just you're never too old and you're never too established in whatever it is you do to learn. Like there's always room to grow and there's always room to learn whatever it is that you're doing. Like even like LeBron is the best player in the world and he still learns on the daily. So you're never too old and you're never too established to learn.
Nice. Nice.
Always be ready to grow and always be ready to add something to your mental repertoire.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to go right with that. So, guys, again, this has been day 3 of the Old Head versus Young Head series. Just something I wanted to do. I pray that we brought some value to you. I pray that this hour has given you something. And go back and watch the other shows. Go back and watch yesterday's show with my son, Justin. Juice J Rock, and then of course the first show with Anthony Takeoff McFadden. Go check them out. Leave your thoughts. Share it. Now, here's what I want you to do. You should have liked it by now. Make sure that you share this with somebody that you think needs to hear it. And even more importantly, if this is something that you want to come back to, save it. That causes the algorithm to open up and allow other people to see it. So make sure that you like, share, save. More importantly, if you know somebody needs to hear this, send them here. And if they need private counseling, if they need somebody to talk to, I'm here. This is what I do. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, and educator, but more importantly, the father of 7 outstanding children. And you'll get to meet 2 more of them. And probably, like I said, we might even do KL for a little hot half an hour, but I don't know where she'll go over
half an hour of KL, boy, y'all about to talk about any and everything.
Yeah, it could be anything from listen, we'll see. We're gonna have some fun. But anyway, we're gonna do that. So again, if you want to reach out to my children, please do. And I'm gonna tell you right now, ladies, be careful if you reach out to Jonathan. He ain't playing. Don't reach out on no humble. Know what you're doing when you get it slide into his DMs.
Yeah, we frisky on these sides.
You better come ready. Yeah. All right, yo, John, my man. Love you, boy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. Go ahead and have a good evening. I'm going to holler at you in a little bit, my dude.
Yeah. Love you too.
Love you. All right now.
Yeah.